Yo, 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 what is up, y'all? It's Cone back here again tonight with another episode of After the Buzzer, the show where I recap the NBA games from the day. I guess kind of a quick summary of the games. Most of them sucked. It was a big day for blowouts in the NBA. Teams losing by 30, 40, 20, double digits left and right. You had the Raptors rolling out one of the worst lineups I've ever seen due to a lot of players in health and safety protocols. In fact, one of the worst 8-man rotations I've ever seen in an NBA game. Things are kind of just all over the place in the NBA right now, and so it's been kind of hard to do these recap videos, but I do think there are a couple interesting things I can talk about. 3 games in particular I want to cover, and the first one is one of the blowouts, as I mentioned previously, but the team I want to talk about is the one that got blown out because it's the Sacramento Kings. We've talked about them multiple times on this channel. It's no secret that I feel like the Kings are kind of in like a standstill, purgatory kind of area, and so I kind of want to lay that all out. They got blown out by the Memphis Grizzlies tonight by 25 points. Now, the Grizzlies are a very good team. They are really solid, led by, of course, Ja Morant, who had a near triple-double with 18, 7, and 9. You had 28, 4, and 2 from Desmond Bane, 10, 9, and 6 from Steven Adams, 21 from Jaren Jackson Jr., 11 and 14 from John Conchar, 14 from Kyle Anderson, 14 from Brandon Clark. Just the whole team kind of contributed to this beating of the Sacramento Kings on their home court, too, which is not great if you're the Sacramento Kings. In fact, their interim head coach, Alvin Gentry, said that this was the most embarrassing moment of his 34-year NBA career. So that's where the Kings are at right now. Not exactly what you want to hear. On the Kings side of the ball, you had Tyrese Halliburton with 18, 5, and 7, 12, 7, and 3 from Harrison Barnes, 12, 3, and 5 from De'Aaron Fox, who was not very good in his comeback game. You had 15 from Terrence Davis. Buddy Hield only had 2 in 24 minutes. All around, just a pretty bad performance from the Kings that has kind of become the norm for the Sacramento Kings team. They are super mediocre, and right now in the NBA season, in terms of standings, they are currently sitting tied with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the standings. I'm a Thunder fan. If you've watched the NBA, if you pay attention to this channel, you will know that the Thunder are actively in a rebuild. Now, they have had some really good games, and I still think we are a pretty talented team, but we are not a team that is actively trying to make that push for the playoffs. If somehow we make the play-in, cool. It's kind of just a result of what's happening. We're starting 3 rookies. We have one of the youngest teams in NBA history, and we're kind of just making things happen because the guys are playing really well. They're buying into the system. But we are a team that is actively rebuilding. Sam Presti has said this. Pretty much all the players have said that they know that this is a process. We're not a team that's expected to win a lot this season. The Sacramento Kings are a team that is actively trying to make the playoffs, and they are at the same record as us, 31 games into the season. Or, excuse me, 34 games into the season. We are close to halfway through the year, and they've been this bad over the course of the season. Now, they could always catch a hot streak. That's 100% possible. But right now, when I look at this Sacramento Kings team, they continue to try to compete. Since De'Aaron Fox got drafted, which was kind of the start of this new era Kings team, let me read you their records. In the first season he got drafted, they went 27 and 55, had 39 wins the next year. They got close to making the playoffs, so it looked like things were kind of on the rise. And then since then, they have 31 wins in the last 2 years, and now they've got 13 wins. Which currently they're on pace to have a worse record than those past 2 seasons with De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Rashawn Holmes. This roster should not be this bad, and yet it is. They are not playing good basketball. They fired Luke Walton probably a year and a half, 2 years late. From like almost day one, it was clear that Luke Walton was not a great coach, and they held on to him for so long. And now they're once again at a crossroads. And this is going to be one of the most important off seasons and trade deadlines, in my opinion, for the Sacramento Kings in a while. Because I think they need to make a really big decision and potentially, or they need to at least look into trading De'Aaron Fox. This is not because De'Aaron Fox is bad. This is not because he came back today and was pretty mediocre in a loss when Tyrese Halliburton had been thriving as the point guard. I'll get into that in a second. This is not any of that. I think Fox is a phenomenal all-star caliber, right around all-star caliber player. I think he's great. I think he's underrated by a lot of people. But at the same time, the way that this Kings team is going, he doesn't want to lose anymore, and they keep winning too much to be a bottom of the pack team and get that first overall pick that they desperately need, and they're not winning enough to make the play-in. And even if they catch a hot streak and make the play-in, they're going nowhere anywhere. Even if they somehow get out of the play-in and into the playoffs, which I don't think is possible, they would go nowhere in the playoffs. And right now, the way they're going, I don't see a path to this team competing for a championship. I don't. Tyrese Halliburton, he's been thriving. In the starting role in the 4 games De'Aaron Fox was out, let me read you his stats. 21-10 with 6 rebounds, 27-11-4, 24-11-4, 22-13-3. Have you noticed a trend? Every single game that he started, while given they weren't winning, which, is fine for a Kings team that should probably be trying to bottom out, he put up 20 and 10 plus assists. Every single game that he started. Tyrese Haliburton, they need to let him cook more. No matter, even if what I say in this video is dumb, if you disagree with it, I think everyone can agree that Tyrese Haliburton needs to have the ball in his hands more. Because the way that he's been playing, the way that he has shown he's capable of playing when they give him the ball, shows that those opportunities need to happen. And the guard position is crowded with him, with Fox, with Hield, with Davion Mitchell. It's a crowded position. And so that's one reason you could consider trading Fox, because Haliburton looks like he's got a lot of potential. Will he be better than De'Aaron Fox? I've got no idea. Probably not, with the way that I've seen Fox play. But there's always that possibility. And if you trade De'Aaron Fox, you can get a lot for him. He is a guy that I'm sure any number of teams would want. I'm sure the Sixers would look at him and say, yes, we want him on our team. We'll trade you Ben Simmons. I'm sure they would consider that. Or even if you don't like the Ben Simmons fit, which I think would be a good fit on this Kings team, a great defensive player, surround him with shooters. Tyrese Haliburton is a great shooter himself, shooting 41% from 3 on the season. He's a good playmaker. I think they would fit pretty well together, even if you don't think so. I guarantee you there's a team out there that would be willing to throw multiple first-round picks at the Kings for De'Aaron Fox, as well as a young player or two. I guarantee there are teams out there that would do that. And you know what that lets you do? It lets you bottom out. It lets them go the rest of the season, probably lose a ton of games, but have a good shot at getting the first overall pick, which can completely turn this franchise around. The Kings are so boring and lame. They feel like they've been in mediocrity. In fact, they have been in mediocrity for like a decade. They're just not on a right path. They need a first overall pick, a second, a third. They need a high draft pick to inject some life into this franchise. And if you bottom out right now, if you bottom out before the trade deadline, I can guarantee this Kings team can probably get that first overall pick, because a lot of teams are pretty competitive. Outside of like the Pistons and the Magic, who probably have those first 2 spots locked up at this point, you can get up there. You cannot, obviously you could jump in the lottery. It happens all the time. But as a fan of a team that won too many games at the end of the year and got burnt completely by the lottery, you don't want to rely on that system. You want to bottom out, be as bad as possible, and go into this offseason with the potential to bring in a top draft pick, pair him with Davion Mitchell, Tyrese Haliburton, whoever else maybe you get in that trade. And then maybe you've got something new, you've got something fun and interesting, you can try it out. And even if you're bad the next year, you get another draft pick. But what they are doing right now is not working. And I think it's time to at least, if there's not a good trade out there, don't make a trade. Sure, hold De'Aaron Fox completely. He's a young star, an all-star caliber player. I think so. But if you look out there and there's a move, make that move. There have already been rumors that De'Aaron Fox is being considered to be traded. And I'm not surprised why, for all of the reasons I've just said. I like the Sacramento Kings, and I want to see them succeed. If you're a Kings fan, you probably hate this. If I was a Kings fan, I would hate this video. I would think this video sucks, because I don't want to see De'Aaron Fox, my franchise, hopefully cornerstone, get moved. I don't want to see that. I hate when people bring up Shea trade rumors for other reasons, because they're super dumb, but I hate seeing people talk about my favorite player get traded. So if you're a Kings fan, I 100% understand if you hate this video. This is just my perspective on things. Maybe I'm wrong. There's a chance I am. I'm wrong a lot on this channel, because I'm kind of just sharing my opinions. But right now the Kings are at a crossroads, and I think it's time to make a drastic move. I don't think trading like Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, and like a pick for a decent player, I don't think that changes anything. Sure, maybe you make the plan, and then what? You continue to be mediocre? I don't know. We'll see. But for right now, the Kings are at a crossroads. They've got to do something big, and I don't know if they're going to. They refused to fire Luke Walton for 2 years, so probably just going to keep running this thing through, get the 7th overall pick in the draft, and we're going to keep doing this thing over and over. That kind of seems to be the way it goes. Next game I want to talk about is the Thunder versus Pelicans game. Now, the Thunder getting this win, they've won 4 out of their last 6. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 31-4-5 as he continues to average. I think he's averaging 26 points per game in the month of December, which is the highest month of points he's averaged in his entire career. That was a weird way to word that. That was really weird. Pretend that didn't happen. Josh Giddey had a 10-10 double-double with 0 points. 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 0 points. It's only been done one other time, so we continue to make history. 24 for the undrafted rookie, or not undrafted, second round rookie, 55th overall pick Aaron Wiggins with 24, 6, and 1 assist. 13 for the undrafted player, Lou Dort, who hit a 3 in this one to keep his streak alive. 12 from Teo Maledon, 10 from Kenrich Williams. All around, just a great team effort. This team is really clicking. I made that video a couple days ago talking about how this team was really clicking on all cylinders, and everything I said in that video continues to apply to this game. Great defense, locked in, guys know their roles. Shea takes over when need be. Josh Giddey, great playmaking. Lou Dort, lockdown defense. He also had 4 steals in this one. All 4 of those came within the first 7 minutes too, which allowed the Thunder to get out to a 32-18 lead after 1 quarter, which was huge in this game. For the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram left this one pretty early. He only played 9 minutes. 15-6 for Herb Jones, 29, 10, and 4 for Josh Hart, who killed us tonight. 14-6 from Billy Hernan-Gomez, 15 from Devontae Graham, 22 from Garrett Temple, 15 from Jackson Hayes. The Pelicans made a really good effort despite not having Jonas Valanciunas or Brandon Ingram in this one. It just wasn't enough. This Thunder team is playing pretty well right now. They're only a couple games out of the play-in tournament, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm super excited to see them in about, I think it's 2 weeks from today, or 12 days from today for the first game. If you didn't know, I'm going to a couple Thunder games in Oklahoma City. I've never been before. I live on the East Coast, so flying out there for a couple of Thunder games, I'm super excited. They're the games against the Timberwolves and the Nuggets on January 7th and January 9th. If you're going to those games, let me know. I'd love to meet some of y'all, so just let me know on that. But right now, the Thunder are rolling, and vote Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the All-Star game. Finally, I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls versus the Indiana Pacers. In this one, Zach LaVine kind of made a statement. He had 32 points. You had DeMar DeRozan with his usual 24, 3, and 3. Those two are just such a good duo. I can't believe people thought it wasn't going to work. They were very, very wrong. 16 and 15 for Nikola Vucevic. Kobe White was a little disappointing getting the start at point guard. He had 8, 2, and 1. Not really what you want to see with Lonzo Ball and health and safety protocols, but all around, the Bulls continue to be a really solid team, and the scoring tandem of DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine are one of the clutchest and best in the NBA. It's super fun to watch them cook, and I really enjoy watching this Bulls team. They're one of the most fun teams to watch. As for the Pacers, I want to give a shout to Karis LeVert, who has really been hooping over his last few games, especially when they let him handle the ball. He's been playing some point guard, 27 and 9 assists in this one, even in the loss. It was just a great game from him. 14 and 16 from Domantas Sabonis, who is building his trade value as well. 19 and 5 for Miles Turner. I'm excited for when this team finally decides to blow it up, because I think a lot of these guys can make big impacts on other teams. Not sure when that's going to happen. We've already heard it's probably going to happen, but I'm excited to see what happens with this Pacers team. I like a lot of guys on it. Even if this team's mediocre, they've got some fun players, and so I'm excited to see how those players can thrive elsewhere. But I want to give a shout out to mainly to Karis LeVert on the Pacers side and Zach LaVine on the Bulls side. He's building a case to be an all-star. Not quite sure if he's going to get there, because it's really tough both out east and out west. But if they continue to play like this, I could 100% see Zach LaVine taking a second all-star spot alongside DeMar DeRozan, who should be an all-star starter. So, those are my thoughts on the games from today. Like I said, I'm sorry there wasn't a lot to talk about with some of these games. There are just a ton of blowouts. I'm trying to make these recap videos. There's just not always a lot to talk about. But thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know what your favorite game was from today in the comment section below. If you made it to this part in the video, let me know what you think about the whole De'Aaron Fox thing. Also, put SGA as an all-star down in the comment section below so I know that you made it to the end of the video. I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you all later. Real one, say it back.